Hello, this is Shambhavi. Welcome to Satsang. Satsang is an ancient spiritual practice from India. It means being in reality together. I give Satsang live every Wednesday and Sunday night in Portland, Maine. This Dharma talk was recorded during one of our Wednesday night gatherings. Please visit jayakula.org to learn more about the teachings. You can find video satsangs on Jayakula's YouTube channel, and my books are all available on Amazon.com. Much love to you, wherever and however you are. Everything that's happening here is completely natural and fine. So even war and mayhem and fascism, even Trump's hairdo, everything here is completely natural and fine. Everything here is being produced by one self, by one continuous awareness and its energy, by wisdom. Everything that's here is an experience. The real nature of yourself as an individual is an experience of an individual self. So just like as if you were in a play or you were starring in a movie or something, you would inhabit a character and you would try to generate an experience of that character in order to be able to play that character, right? But that character isn't a real person in the same way that you think you are. Well, from God's perspective, you are a character in a play. From your perspective, you're a character in a play who's forgotten you're a character in a play. But this process of forgetting is completely natural. There's absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's actually just what God does. So everything that's here is the life process of God, of Shiva nature, of Buddha nature, of Christ consciousness, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't really matter what you call it. For those of you that might be a little freaked out by the word God, I used to never use the word God before. But then what happens is the more sadhana you do, even if you start off as some sort of rational skeptic, who you can't figure out what the heck you're doing here, but you're here anyway, then you just have to deal with yourself. It's nobody else's thing to deal with, your skepticism. But what happens is if you do some practice consistently, eventually, inevitably, 100% of the time, you are going to end up in a state of devotion. In spite of yourself, in spite of whatever resistance you have, as long as you don't have a resistance to actually doing sadhana, you're going to end up in a state of devotion. You're going to end up expressing natural devotion. And when that happens, you won't mind using the word God anymore. Everything here is the life process of that self, that continuous consciousness. It's all being generated, all worlds, all people, all beings, all circumstances, all universes, all parallel universes, all quarks and quanta are all being generated as experiences by that one self. And don't bother believing what I'm saying. Because the whole purpose of the practice is that you find out for yourself. So you don't have to get exercised if you don't believe what I'm saying. I don't care if you believe it or not. What I do care about, minimally, is that you can have an experience of it. Why do I care about that? Because I'm on some sort of messianic kick to have everybody become more realized? No. Because it's just gorgeous, that's why. And it's like wanting to share an incredible meal with people. That's that impulse of wanting other people to share in the wonderful, magnificent experience of waking up to your real nature. You don't want to eat that beautiful meal by yourself. So, one thing I can guarantee you, though, this life comes with very few guarantees, but here's one. If you practice, at some point, you will experience what I've experienced. Because we have the same nature. Our essence is the same. There's nothing special about me other than the fact that I actually practiced a lot. That's the only thing that differentiates me from you. Who knows, you might have more capacity than I did. Anyone in this room might. I mean, all of our natures are the same, but we come in with different capacities in any particular lifetime. My capacity is middling, as far as I can tell. So, think of the joy or the sense of interest even. Forget about joy, just interest in going on a journey. We're interested in journeys. We're interested in stories that unfold and have a mystery at the end, something revealed. We love surprise plot twists. Right? Well, waking up is the big surprise plot twist of this reality. As above, so below. Everything we love, God loves too. We're just expressing that in our more limited way. When we dream, we are always going on journeys. We narrate everything in our lives as some sort of path or journey. Our relationships are all about the journey of our relationship. The story of our relationship. We're constantly involved in stories and journeys. And self-realization is the cosmic journey. So it's the biggest story that's being told. It's the biggest surprise plot twist. It's the most engaging, binge-worthy drama. I'm laughing, but it's true, actually. So all of our little journeys and little stories are echoes or reflections of that bigger story. So why do we not know our real nature right away? Because that would be the end of that story. And as above, so below. You don't want to watch a binge. You don't want to binge a series that's only one episode. And when you really love a story, you beg or you really, really hope there'll be another season. You don't want everything to get resolved too quickly because you're enjoying all the revelations and twists and obstacles and stuff. So through our experience of individualistic mind and senses, our experience of being individuals, this reality is enjoying the story of moving from a condition of relative ignorance of its own nature to rediscovery of its own nature. Because it's joyful, it's fun, it's filled with chills and spills and huge variety, infinite permutations. And it expresses the absolute creative fecundity of this reality to the nth degree. There couldn't possibly be anything wrong with you because you are God playing you. There's nothing wrong with your obstacles. There's nothing wrong with your karmas. There's nothing wrong with any of it. Even your feeling that there must be something wrong with it is just histrionics, God's histrionics. Right? God created soap operas too. You might be one of God's soap operas. When we have direct experience of that, then we can begin to enter into the play of our own awakening with a little more lightness. and gusto, because we realize, wow, we're on the greatest show on earth here. We get to play this one. Wow. This is like the Game of Thrones of God. The one that everyone wants to be in. So, having tastes of that reality, having tastes of your real nature through doing your practice and being in a transmission situation, and just through the grace of God, who knows how, you become both lighter and more inspired to do practice. Because you want to be a player. Right? I once said to one of my teachers, I'm tired of sitting on the sidelines. Okay, I want to get in the game. Okay, so that becomes more of a thing. Because what else is there to do that's more fun? Or more rewarding? Nothing. As Dilgo Khyentse Rinpoche said, when you recognize your real nature, there's a little smile that plays behind your, like a little smile on your lips, but I think he said like behind your lips. There's always a little smile playing at everything, because everything is a little bit funny once you recognize your real nature. But you still want to participate. Why? Because this is the nature of this reality, is to create all of these experiences and be in that playground. In the Tantras, this world is, or this reality is referred to as a playground. It's also referred to as the mansion of fun, not as the mansion of suffering. That doesn't mean that we don't have a real experience of suffering. Of course we do. But that is just one of the flavors on God's tongue. It isn't our real condition. It isn't the real condition. So suffering is a relative experience. We have to pay attention to it while we're still stuck in dualistic karmic vision. But it is, not the ultimate nature of reality. So you can moan and groan. You can feel that everything is very serious about you. But every once in a while, you really need to remind yourselves that you are just that reality showing up as you. And then it's all rather hysterical. All this hand-wringing and moaning and groaning is rather hysterical from a certain perspective. And even the fact that you're trapped in it becomes a little bit funny. So this idea that we could just sort of walk away from our karma as well, occasionally that happens. But more or less, we either don't want to walk away at all because we're attached to things, or we try and walk away and it's very difficult. And even that is very funny, our struggles with that, on some level. I mean, we can feel pain and laugh at the same time. This is actually one of the inheritances I feel I have from being born into a Jewish family, is I can be in horrible pain and laugh at the same time. For some reason I associate that with being Jewish. I don't know why, but right? It's like while your guts are bleeding out, you're telling some kind of a joke. But I think that that's a very useful tool, useful orientation. So right now, even if you haven't had a lot of experience of your real nature or the nature of everything, if you're hearing my words and you're feeling lighter, think about that. Why? Why would you be feeling lighter if what I'm saying is just, some phantasmagoric ravings? Then why do you feel lighter? If you do. Isn't that weird? You do feel lighter, if you do feel happier, if you feel some sense of relief, it's because when you hear the teachings about how things actually are from someone who has tasted that reality or lives in it to some degree, there's a resonance that happens between you and that person or those teachings. The Supreme Self lives in you. And it's just waiting to hear the truth about itself. So when you're going around going, I hate myself, the Supreme Self's going, yeah, I heard that soap opera already. But when the Supreme Self, aka you, begins to hear about itself, how it actually is, the experience becomes much lighter. There's a response in you, where even if it's ridiculous from this perspective of your rational mind, your westernized rational mind, even if that mind is saying, this is ridiculous, something in you is saying, no, it's not. It's the truth of my existence. And that's what we have to listen to. That's what we have to follow. We have to have the guts to follow that. So if you're willing to follow that inner sense, not me, your own inner sense of how things actually are, you will enter into that more deeply. You'll discover more about that if you're willing to follow that feeling and just let it be, let it alone. Stop messing with it. Even just give it a chance to say something to you, to heal you, right? Just give it a chance. What does it feel like to stop lobbing all your usual karmic chit-chat at it? What does that actually feel like? This is an experiential tradition. This is not an intellectual, conceptual-based tradition. It's all about your direct experience. And guess what? Your direct experience is always available to you. Because it's you. But we've devised in our wisdom knot all different kinds of ways to avoid consulting our direct experience in any particular moment. We've been trained to listen to our conceptual, intellectual minds and turn off and to disregard or disapprove of or doubt our direct experience. We have to unlearn that. We have to learn to take refuge in our actual experience and consult it and explore it. Jayakula is a nonprofit community offering opportunities to learn and practice in the direct realization traditions of Trika Shaivism and Dzogchen. We are based in Portland, Maine and Portland, Oregon. Visit jayakula.org to explore more of our offerings.